Most of you guys know about a new challenge that Ashton and I have taken on in our life, and that being the Renew House. We're 2 months into it, and a lot of cool things have been happening. And I want to thank you guys for your love and for your support and your generosity to help get that place up and running. We have already seen hundreds of people come through and use the space, like hundreds of unique people. I think over 160 different people in 2 months use it. We've had over 40 overnight guests for a week-long mission trip or for board meetings. We hosted 3 missionaries who were on their way to Africa for a night, so they didn't have to pay for hotel on their way. And so it's been awesome. It's been incredible. And we actually have a team coming again this weekend, a team of young adults from a church in Ohio coming to serve us and experience Canadian culture and hear about how we are reaching people with the gospel here in the GTA. So I want to thank you guys and let you know awesome things are happening. It's really, really cool. It's been a huge blessing, and there's also things about it that have been a challenge. And I hope at some point you guys all have a chance to use the house at some point for different gatherings. And also my hope is that at some point by the end of the summer, most of you are able to come and hang out at the pool in the backyard. Speaking of the pool has probably been the biggest challenge so far. It has tested my patience more than anything I imagine. And I want to say that has less to do with the condition of the pool and has everything to do with my lack of experience with pools. If you were to ask me 4 months ago, Andrew, would you ever buy a pool? I would tell you no. I would never do it. I like swimming. I don't like swimming enough to put all the work into maintaining a pool. It's a lot of work. And I actually have a huge respect for people who own pools and maintain pools and invite their neighbors and friends over to use it and bless them with it. It's an amazing blessing. And honestly, it's an incredible blessing to have that and to use it and to invite people in. It's an amazing way to get people to come over and spend time with you and connect with them. But it's a challenge, and that's mostly because I've got no idea what I'm doing. And there are so many times where I'm standing over this pool, or I have over the last couple months, and I've been looking at it, and I've been thinking, I need a master pool boy standing right next to me to tell me exactly what to do. I have no idea what I'm looking at. I don't know what to do. I don't know how to fix it. I don't know what the problem is. I need a master right next to me who can be looking at the green water and say, this is your problem. This is what you need to do. This is how you need to do it. This is why you need to do it that way. And that would relieve so much anxiety from me. Having a master who knows exactly what to do to tell me exactly what to do, because the work's not a problem. It's not a problem. It's easy maintenance. It's ongoing stuff. It's not having a clue, which is what causes the stress and anxiety. And I imagine that you guys have experiences like that in your life too. I imagine that you guys are going through certain stages and certain seasons in life where you're like totally in over your head, you got no idea what to do, and you are just praying for a master of life to come beside you and walk you through that season, tell you everything you need to do, how to do it, and why you need to do it that way so you can get through it. Some of you might be starting out a new job in the trades. It might be starting a new apprenticeship, and you're walking into this apprenticeship with high dreams and high expectations, but you're walking in not having a clue about what you're doing in this space. And you find yourself at work just staring at the wall thinking, I don't know what to do next. I don't know how to do it right. And you're kind of terrified. You're like, if I do it wrong, am I going to break something? Is the house going to get lit up on fire? Is my boss going to come by and like look at what I'm doing and go, what in the world are you doing? You're terrified when you're looking at things, not having a clue on what you're doing. And I imagine like this young apprentice in the trades just standing there at work being like, I'm immobilized. I can't do anything. I'm paralyzed because I'm terrified because I got no idea. And that young apprentice, I imagine he sits there going, I just wish I had my own little master, little master tradesman just standing right beside me telling exactly what I need to do, how I need to do it, and why I need to do it. That would save me so much stress and so much anxiety, and I'd actually get the work done well. Or maybe you're a new mom. Maybe you are 3 months into motherhood, and you're sitting there for the first time with a 3-month-old, looking at this baby crying at you, thinking, what have I gotten myself into? I have no idea what this baby wants. I have no idea what to do to make this baby feel better, and I have to do this for the next 18 years of my life. What am I doing? I have no idea. And I bet you if you're in that circumstance, you're sitting there and you're wishing that Mrs. Duggard from 19 and Counting was standing right beside you and was just telling you, hey, look, done there, been there, done that. Here's exactly what you need to do. Here's how you need to do it, and here's why you need to do it that way. You feel so free just having that in your life. Or maybe you're like everyone else in the world and you struggle with communication, especially with your partner. And there are times where your partner is talking to you and you're staring at them like a deer in the headlights because you just have no idea what they're saying. You have no idea where it's coming from. You're not understanding them. You don't know why they're saying these things. You don't know what their motive is. Is it good? Is it bad? Are they trying to control me? Do they actually love me? And you're just staring there. You're terrified because you got no idea what they're saying. And you're probably sitting there thinking, it would be incredible to just have a master communicator standing right beside me at all times. In any circumstance where I have to communicate, there's a master communicator, and they're listening to the words. They're perfectly interpreting it in a way that I'll understand. They're able to interpret the motive, and they're able to communicate perfectly what that person's trying to say to me. And then that master communicator can also read your mind and your heart and take all the stuff that's on your heart and on your mind that you can never communicate right, can interpret it, can put it into a perfect sentence, and deliver it back. That would relieve you of so much conflict in your life. That would relieve you of so much tension and anxiety if you just had a master with you at all times, everywhere you go. At Renew, we're starting a new series, and it's called Foolproof. And the series is going to be a summer series throughout the book of Proverbs. We're not covering the whole book. We're going to cover pieces of it here and there. And what I'd like to do this morning with you is I'd like to answer three questions. I'd like to answer what is a proverb? I'd like to answer why they're important or how they benefit you. And then I'd like to answer the question, what is the power of a proverb? What is the foundation of a proverb? Why do proverbs change your life? Why should they? How do they do that? Why are they so important? And what gives them their power? And I want you throughout the series as we go through the summer, I want you to be thinking about the Proverbs as your own personal master. Think of the Proverbs as your own personal master at life, who's with you at all times, standing right next to you, that is able to tell you exactly what you need to do, how you need to do it, and why you need to do it, so that you yourself can actually master life. See, the goal at the end of the series is that we equip you with some tools so that you can live a more foolproof life. Equip you with some tools that you can master life a little bit more in this journey that you're going on. And so that's my goal today, to tell you what is a proverb, what they do for you, and where they come from or what the power is. And in order to do that, we're going to actually open up the Word of God. We're going to read from Proverbs 1 this morning. So if you have a Bible, you can open it to Proverbs 1. We're just going to go from verse 1 to verse 7. If you don't have a Bible and you need one, we have ushers who are going to give one to you if you put your hand up. It'll be helpful for you to be able to follow along this morning. We're going to be reading out of the NIV today. I'm going to jump in here. Verse 1, chapter 1 of Proverbs. The Proverbs of Solomon, son of David, king of Israel, for gaining wisdom and instruction, for understanding words of insight, for receiving instruction in prudent behavior, doing what is right and just and fair, for giving prudence to those who are simple, knowledge and discretion to the young. Let the wise listen and add to their learning, and let the discerning get guidance for understanding proverbs and parables, the sayings and riddles of the wise. Verse 7 says, the fear of the Lord is the beginning of knowledge, but fools despise wisdom and instruction. So what, then, is a proverb? Simply put, a proverb is a wise saying for everyone, everywhere. It's a short expression of truth that anyone can apply to almost any circumstance in any moment of time. The book of Proverbs was a collection of these wise sayings by a guy named King Solomon thousands and thousands of years ago. He was a son of King David in Israel, and he collected these sayings, and he actually wrote some on his own. Something about to know about King Solomon. King Solomon was known to be one of the wisest men to have ever lived. And the reason he was one of the wisest men to ever live is because he was always seeking wisdom for his entire life. There was never a moment in time where King Solomon didn't want to gain more wisdom. His whole life, every stage, he wanted to learn more and understand more and gain wisdom. And so King Solomon collected this book of proverbs, of truths, of wise sayings for his own personal edification, because he himself loved to gain more insight and more understanding. But also, King Solomon wanted to instruct the young with these wise sayings. And what he wanted to instruct the young in is how to master life. His goal was to be able to equip young men and women to learn how to live the good life, how to master their life, because he himself sought after that goal. It makes me think about the 6-month internship starting out in the trades, and it makes you think, the guy, his first day on the job, he's probably totally overwhelmed. He's got no idea what he's doing. He's staring at the wall thinking, what am I doing? I don't know what to do next. And his boss is just telling him all these things. He's saying, do this and this and this, and you do it this way and this way. And it's like drinking out of a fire hose, constantly drinking out of a fire hose. And he can only take in so much, but he's trying, and it's overwhelming, and it's exhausting because there's so much to know. There's so much to learn. There's so much wisdom and insight to gain. It's kind of how I think about when a young person approaches the Proverbs for the first time. This is how I felt when I approached the Proverbs for the first time in my life. I loved the Proverbs. I was like, man, this stuff is so good. But you read one verse, and you're like, oh my goodness, that changes my life. And then you read the next verse, you're like, oh my goodness, that's going to change my life. And then you read the next verse, you're like, holy cow, if I had known this, my life would be totally changed. It's like drinking out of a fire hose for the young. But something to consider is that King Solomon himself sought after wisdom even in his old age. See, there's never a point in time where you totally master life. In the same way that the boss on the trade site, if he's a good boss, if he is somebody who's continuing to master his trade, he's constantly learning and growing and understanding how to apply principles to new circumstances, how to learn new ways to do it, how to use new tools. The best of the best are always growing and mastering their trade. And that's the same in life too. There's never a moment in time where there's not something to learn for you. There's never a moment in time where there's not a greater master for you to learn from in how to do life well and how to master life. And so the wise sayings, they are for everyone, everywhere, in almost every circumstance. So then the question is, well, what are they for? What are they used for? What is the point of them? The Proverbs are a guide to help you master life. The Proverbs are a guide to help you master life. They exist for your benefit to teach you, to grow you, and to help you in every area of your life. In verse 2 here, it says, for gaining wisdom and instruction, for understanding words of insight, for receiving instruction in prudent behavior, doing what is right and just and fair. King Solomon, he highlights 3 benefits to the Proverbs. And he does this right at the beginning so that you read the Proverbs with these 3 things in mind. And we're going to look at what those 3 things are. The first is that he says when you apply the Proverbs, they help you master your communication. Applying the Proverbs to your life helps you master communication. They help you understand wise language. It helps you understand words of wisdom and insight and understanding. Now, some people just call this common sense. But here's the deal about common sense. Common sense is not common sense unless it's common sense. Do you understand that? Common sense, it ain't common sense unless it's common sense. The sense is the insight and the wisdom and the understanding. And the commonality is that we actually share that. And so when you think about the Proverbs, you actually think about them as common sense, as things that are sensible, that are wise, that are there to help you master your communication. I was thinking about thinking about myself, but a young couple who struggle with communication with their partner. And I was thinking about times in my life where I've just been in an argument, in a conflict with somebody, saying all sorts of stuff, not remembering a word I'm saying, just kind of responding in the moment to everything. And as we all know, that doesn't always go all that well. And then I've left, and a couple hours later, whether it's in the Proverbs or somewhere else, read something that's like a really, really interesting idea, and I've thought, shoot, if I had known that earlier, I wouldn't have this conflict that I'm in right now. If I had known that earlier, I would have communicated totally differently. If I had known that and applied that earlier, the situation would be totally different. If I had the Proverbs, if I had the wise sayings, I would have mastered communication in that moment and avoided conflict altogether. And so the first thing that Solomon's saying is they help you master communication, helps you communicate intelligently. That's what the wise sayings, that's what the Proverbs are for. The second thing that he says is they actually help you master your lifestyle. You see there it says that they help you in prudent behavior, to live well. The Proverbs help you in well living, to live the good life in which you were made and intended to live. That's their goal, prudent behavior. Master your lifestyles. They promote healthy lifestyles emotionally and physically, and spiritually. And they help you master your lifestyle and behavior. I got thinking about the new mom with a 3-month-old. And she's sitting there looking at this 3-month-old crying, and she's thinking, first of all, I've got no idea what to do with this right now, let alone live my own life. I don't even have control over my own life. I don't even know how to live my own life well. I'm not taking care of myself. I'm not living a healthy, good, responsible, wise lifestyle. How am I supposed to raise this human being into living a good life, a good lifestyle? And I'm just thinking of Mrs. Duggart again. As cheesy and lame as she is, she's had 19 kids, so she knows what she's doing. And I can just imagine her sitting there being like, honey, it's okay. It's okay. Take a second. Try this. Just do it like this. Here's why you do it this way. And mom's able to step back, relax, consider her lifestyle, and apply it to her lifestyle, and start to master her lifestyle in the moment, in prudent behavior. And so the Proverbs help us live well. The Proverbs help us master our lifestyle and communication. And this leads to the third thing. The Proverbs actually help us master morality. They help us master morality. In Proverbs 1, verse 3, the second half, it says this, that the Proverbs were not just wise sayings to understand what is right and wrong. This is huge. They actually exist to help you do what is right and wrong. You see the difference between understanding right and wrong and doing right and wrong. They help us do the right thing. The Proverbs help us do the right and just and fair thing. You know, we're all faced with circumstances in our workplaces where we don't really know what we're doing. We don't want to put the work in. Either we're lazy or inexperienced, and there is a shortcut to take. We know we could just take the shortcut, cut the corner, move on from it, and avoid any anxiety or pressure over having to do it right. I'm just picturing the young apprentice, to avoid any conflict with his boss or to get his job done quicker, cutting corners. And what the Proverbs do is they actually help you master your morality. The Proverbs help you do the right thing in the moment. They teach you, here's what the right thing is, and here's why you need to do it, and here's how you do it. So do it because it's good for you in the end. The Proverbs help us master our morality. They help us master our communication, and they help us in prudent behavior. They help us master our lifestyles. So what are the Proverbs? As we're going through the summer, we're going to go through a whole bunch of different Proverbs. Think of the Proverbs as wise sayings for everyone, everywhere. Think of them as tools to help you master your lifestyle, help you master your communication, and help you master your morality. However, there's one essential truth, one super important truth. And if you don't get this, you don't get any of the Proverbs. If you don't get this, the whole summer is going to be gibberish to you. If you don't get this, you do not have the power that the Proverbs have to change and transform your life. And that's found in verse 7 of chapter 1. It says, "The fear of the Lord is the beginning of knowledge, but fools despise wisdom and instruction." It's not by accident that King Solomon put this here. He starts out the whole collection of Proverbs, 31 chapters, hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of wise sayings, and he starts out with, here's what they're good for, here's what they are, here's what they're good for, and here's what you need for them to work. Here's what you need for them to actually help you master your life. And it's the fear of the Lord, he says. Building a reverent and devoted, loving and worshipful and submissive relationship to the Lord is the foundation of all the Proverbs. It's the foundation of it. You can't build the Proverbs on top without this. And that's why Solomon starts with it. You see, if God is the creator God, then he created you. And if he created you, he probably also created me. And if he created me, then he knows me. And if he created you, he knows you. And if he created everyone around you, he knows them. And if this is the God that we understand, then this God also loves you, and he loves me, and he loves everybody around us, and he understands you, and he understands me, and he understands everyone and everything around us. He made it to work that way. He understands it all. Nothing that exists is apart from him. He stands before all things. He is in all things. Everything was made through him. And so there's no nothing, there's no life, there's no wisdom, there's no truth, there's no understanding, there's no insight, there's no common sense, there's no meaning, there's no purpose outside of a relationship with the Lord, with the Master. You see, it's a relationship with the true Master that gives power to all the Proverbs to help you master your life. It's a relationship with the Master that gives you the strength and the power to master your life. Any mastery in life, and hear this, any mastery, whatever you're working at, whatever you're working towards, whatever you're pursuing with your time, whatever skill you're learning, whatever education you're getting, whatever experience you're having, any mastery at anything, apart from a relationship with the Lord, is kind of folly, is what it says. This is foolishness. It says all these things are good, all the Proverbs are good, all the wise sayings, they're really, really good, but they're complete folly. They're complete foolishness. Any mastery in life is a waste of time apart from a relationship with the Lord, is what King Solomon is saying. And so this morning, I'm going to leave you guys with 3 things that a relationship with the Master, the true Master, require. And I hope that these 3 things can carry us through the rest of the series throughout the summer. The first thing that a relationship with a master requires is a listening ear. Now, this may sound simple to you, but the truth is you cannot learn from a master without actually listening and having a listening ear and being open to hear. It is required to have an open heart and an open mind to understanding in order to have a relationship with the master. Can you imagine this young mom? The baby's still crying, she's still sitting there, and Mrs. Duggard's sitting right next to her, telling her everything she needs to do. And all that mom keeps replying with is, well, that sounds good, but you kind of live in a different place. And that's interesting, but you're not all that cool. You kind of look funky, so I don't know if this applies to you. Or oh, that sounds like it worked for you, but we live in a different place. Or no, I know my baby. I know my baby. But yeah, that sounds interesting. But my heart is telling me this. Mrs. Duggard, the master, is probably thinking, what am I here for? What am I here for? You seem to have it all figured out. You seem to be a master. A relationship with the master requires a listening ear. If you want to get anything, you have to have a listening ear. The second thing that a relationship with the master requires is this. It requires that you genuinely believe that the master knows better than you. It requires that. You cannot have a relationship with the master unless you believe they know better than you. If you believe you know better than them, then you're the master, and you're looking at them as the apprentice. I'd be worried to look at God as an apprentice, right? A relationship with the master requires that you believe that the master knows better, and you also believe that the master knows what's best for you and wants what's best for you. You can't have a relationship with a master. You cannot be an apprentice without this. In order to listen, you have to believe that they know better. I'm just picturing a couple sitting on a couch with a counselor, and everything that the counselor is telling this man that he ought to do in his communication, he's responding with, well, yeah, but you don't really know her, right? Or, yeah, but she did all these things. Or, but if I do that, then I lose control, and that's not going to be good because she's this way. So that sounds good, but it's not for me. I know better in this circumstance. This is my relationship. You don't know. You're not with her all the time. A relationship with a master requires a listening ear and actually requires that you trust that they know better. It just doesn't work if you don't. And finally, a relationship with the master requires practice. A relationship with the master, it requires you to apply the things that you're learning. A relationship with the master requires that you put the things to practice that they are telling you, that you hear, you understand, you trust is good, you actually have to do it to gain from it. Think about this young apprentice in his first 6 months of his trade. And he goes home at night, he has no idea what to do, he's got to putty and drywall and paint a drywall tomorrow. And so he goes home and he watches 3 hours of YouTube. And he's like, got it, took perfect notes. Comes to work the next morning. He looks at his boss and says, boss, show me how to do this. I'm going to watch you. I'm just going to listen. I'm going to watch. I trust that you know what you're doing. Show me. So the boss is up there, and he's doing his thing. He's showing him. He's telling him every single thing he needs to do to master this skill. I think we all know that it's not until the apprentice takes the putty on the scraper, puts it on the wall, sees how it interacts and feels it out, and sands it down and puts a little bit more on and sands it down a little bit and then starts painting, and he can see the lines that he's leaving, and he's covering up the lines, and he can see all the principles happen in person, in reality, and using his own hands to do it. It's not until he does that till he actually learns. And when he does that, he's going to fail, most likely. He's going to forget something, he's going to fail. But for him to master that skill, he has to keep practicing it over and over and over, and applying that principle to this wall and that wall and kitchen walls and basement walls and I don't know what other kind of walls there are, but every other kind of wall. In order for him to actually master the skill, he has to practice it over and over. I think a lot of times we are good at coming to God and wanting to hear the right thing, wanting to hear the good thing, and trusting that God knows better. I think where we sometimes struggle is to take those things and put it into practice, because that's the hard stuff. That's the difficult part. That's where life change happens. And that's usually what stops us. We try it once and then it didn't work and it hurt us and we don't do it again. Or we tried it once and it didn't work perfectly, so we're afraid to try it again. A relationship with the master requires practice. And so where we've come today, a proverb is a wise saying for everyone everywhere. Every single one of us, including myself, everywhere in all of our circumstances, in our homes, our workplaces, in our marriages, in our friendships, for everyone in every circumstance at all times. And what they're for is to help you master life, get mastery level in life, in communication, in your lifestyle, in your morality. That's what they exist for. And what we've learned to discover, or we've discovered and come to know this morning, is that outside of a relationship with the true master, we cannot really master life. Without a relationship with the true master of life, the sustainer of life, the giver of life, the maker of life, we cannot master life. And I think we're all honest here. We all know that none of us will get to a point where we do perfectly master life. We realize that there is a master that we are always looking up to and always following, and will never achieve equality with, and that is God. But he has called us to master our lives. And the reason he's called us to master our life is for his glory, for our benefit, and for the benefit of those around us. See, it's not about you. You putting in work to master your life is not about you. God tells you to do that for his glory, because it transforms your life, it redeems your life, and then as we know, as your life is redeemed, it changes the lives of those around. And God, like Bartley said this morning, is all about redeeming his creation. And so my prayer for us as we go through the summer is that we look at the Proverbs as our master, saying right next to us. We take the principles, we apply them, we practice them, we trust that they're good, we trust in the master, and we work on a relationship with the true master so that our lives can be transformed and redeemed for the glory of God. Let me pray.